What, according to you, and to sum it up, are the major existing challenges that you think transporters are struggling with at the moment? That is number one. And what sort of a vision do you have for the sector in the next 5 to 10 years?
So challenge number one, I would start with my journey. So when I joined the business, so even I never wanted to be a part of a transport company, my company itself. So because of some, we had some issues in the company during 2010, and I would say I was forced to be a part of a company. And when I joined the company, I was like, kahan fas gaya? The first thing was, kahan fas gaya? Kya chal raha hai? Because I would see my father dealing with truck drivers and abusive language हमारे में काफी use होता है. Then I would see drivers like, they're not obeying to the orders. मतलब, and वो ज़माना था like, कि जहाँ पे, as I told you, now systems have changed completely, but that time it was completely unorganized. And me going to the godown, so manager would be like, in the banyan, shirtless. So I would see कि क्या चल रहा है, मतलब, what industry I'm into. मतलब जहाँ पे I have friends who have like industries, जहाँ पे इसका industry है, company है, they have like, what type of business I've got into. But I think with time, and that time technology was not so adapted by the transporters, or I would say very, very few players. Like I would say Ashok bhai V-Trans में होगा, Ashok Goel जी के पास होगा, Mahindra ji ke paas hoga. Very, very, very few players who were like, that they had that passion, or I would say they had that wisdom towards technology. Baki, I would say that time 90% players didn't have that much access to the technologies also. So when I joined business, तो हमारे office में सिर्फ एक ही computer हुआ करता था. We had 35 branches, but only one computer. And so then I decided कि ऐसा तो काम नहीं चलेगा. Somewhere either I have to change the, like, या तो मैं खुद बदल जाऊँ और कोई business में चले जाऊँ, start something of my own. But I have to take a call कि यहाँ पे कुछ बदलाव लेके आना पड़ेगा. And as my company name is SNGT, so I also transferred my company from Sri Nasi Goods to SNGT. So I'll come back to this thing again. So then what I decided was I need to train and change all my staff. Like, so obviously, purane jo staff hai, you can't just like, ask them to. So then we decided to train. We adapted technology. We had a training sessions. Jahan pe we took almost 2 years just to train people. And slowly then culture was like, formed in the company. We started building a culture, and dhire dhire after the training, and obviously we started having AGM, annual general meetings. So AGM we used to train them, teach them, and give them the goals. And uske baad individually me myself used to visit every region. And to like, to be, for example, if I'm going to Gujarat, I'll be in Gujarat for like at least 2 months, and wahan pe I'll be visiting every branch. I'll be staying in the branch for 3-4 days. वैसे ही करके slowly transformation started. So again, to the next generation, they are quite, I would say, the coming generation is going to be super lucky because we have technology, we have system process. And when I joined the business, that time, a transporter was looked as a black sheep, या like, कि खटा रहा है. So I was having a word with Ashok ji also. So अगर मैं किसी को बोलूँ कि I'm from a transport company, तो like, अच्छा, okay. So when you hear transport, I'm talking about like 15 years ago, तो transport company का नाम सुन के ऐसा लगता था कि ये कोई like बंदा होगा जो गुंडा मवाली होगा, या very rough and tough type image था. But now you see that things have changed completely. A lot of educated players are there, and if you see right now also जो startup का भी जो है, so you would say majority startups are coming into the logistics industry. So things have changed completely. पहले जो था और अभी जो था, बहुत बड़ा transformation आ गया. And right now technology is leading the show. हमारे यहाँ पे industry में, if you see, technology is playing the main role, and I can see a lot of players have already adopted. People are like, changed completely. So अभी का जो generation है उसके लिए the things are very smooth, and with time definitely things are going to be superb. Okay.
And are the drivers receptive to that change?
Yeah, very much, very much. So right now every driver has a smartphone. They have GPS, they have smartphone. In fact, you won't believe. So we have a parcel delivery system. We have like door-to-door deliveries. So when we came up with a delivery app, jahan pe we also used to take a picture of parcels. So when we came up with a delivery app, so obviously like, I'm not in that much day-to-day in touch with the truck drivers. So then I just spoke to my team कि हम लोग plan करें. So we have 256 trucks. तो मैंने कहा कि इतने सारे truck drivers हैं, तो अगर जो mobile सबको लेके, तो what will the cost? Like, it will become a huge problem for us because एक बड़ा costing आ जाएगा, फिर उनका internet package हो जाएगा. And guess what? So मैंने team को पूछा कि हमारे सभी drivers के पास है, and 92% people have smartphone. 92% of the truck drivers, sorry, they have smartphone. So almost 200 के आसपास, 220 के आसपास लोगों के पास smartphone है. So definitely drivers have adopted. They also, like, I would say the current drivers are quite smart. See, the challenge is that driver का beta driver नहीं बनना चाह रहा है. Existing है जो with proper recognition, proper management, and if you have that humility and humble and love towards them, then definitely these people are gonna be the part of the industry.
Okay.
So change of mindset is needed, and for the youth, it's a very, very good industry right now, and green signal to all the youth who are not willing to be a part of it, but they should be part of it, because we are the one who is running the economy. We are the backbone of the economy. अगर जो bigger transport के, nothing would work.
Absolutely, 5% to the total economy, that's a substantial number. Mr. Singh, one of the challenges that the entire economy faced was in the way of the coronavirus pandemic. A lot of transporters have not been able to recover some of the losses that they made during coronavirus pandemic, and the existing lockdown that time is still impacting them. Not just the fleet size has been impacted, but their drivers' lives, the life and health of their workers was also impacted. Do you think since pandemic till date, we are now entering 2024, we've entered 2024, are things back on track as they were prior to pandemic?
See, our industry and drivers are the front line warrior. कोरोना के समय में जब व्यक्ति व्यक्ति से डरता था, हम घरों से बाहर नहीं निकलते थे. ये ट्रांसपोर्ट इंडस्ट्री और हमारा चालक था जिन्हें अनुसूचित किया कि 140 करोड़ भारतीय भूखा न सोए. जान हथेली पर रखकर उसने विपरीत परिस्थितियों में माल को पहुंचाया. At that time, there was the challenges. Various initiative was given by the government in way of the moratorium. Taxes में छूट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने दी. लेकिन coming to your question that are we back, मैं जो पर्सनल मेरा ओपिनियन है, कोविड का समय बीत चुका है, इंडस्ट्री पूरे ट्रैक पर है. आपने आंकड़े भी देखे हैं किस तरह गाड़ियां बनती जा रही हैं. कमिश्नर साहब ने बताया कि किस तरह बनती जा रही है. सो वी आर प्रोग्रेसिंग इन ए राइट वे एंड वी आर डेवलपिंग, बट स्टिल जो चैलेंजेस हैं, जैसे मैंने पहले बताया कि कुछ पॉलिटिकल विल और इम्प्लीमेंटेशन से सरकार ने करने चाहिए. और ये व्यवसाय वैसे है कि इसमें कोई भी नेगेटिव एस्पेक्ट मेरे को नहीं दिखता. एक सोच है अपनी, किस तरह आप सोचते हो. वी एजुकेट कॉस्ट बेस्ड फ्रेट स्ट्रक्चर. लागत पे भाड़ा लीजिए तो आपको कभी नुकसान नहीं होगा. कई हमारे मेंबर हैं, कोई विदाउट एनी कॉस्ट एनालिसिस काम करते हैं तो नुकसान ही होना है उसका. तो ब्राइट फ्यूचर आप है फॉर दिस इंडस्ट्री. आई एम द सेकेंड जनरेशन. थर्ड जनरेशन मेरी पूरा काम देखती है एंड दे आर हैप्पी. सो कोई रिग्रेट्स नहीं है एंड वी आर ग्रोइंग ऑल्सो. ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजी चेंज इज द सिस्टम. जो चेंज करेगा वही आपने कहा है कि प्रिवेल करेगा, जो चेंज नहीं करेगा वो पेरिश करेगा.
Yes, Chirag.
So I would like to add to this. जैसे कि आपने कहा कि current industry, हमारी industry is booming right now. I'll tell you why. Because जब से Make in India has been promoted, and as today only we heard that 1100 products are being banned from China. So definitely that has worldwide. Wow. So worldwide 1100 products have been banned. So उन सब की manufacturing हमारी country में हो रही है. So somewhere वो सारा business हमारी country में आ गया. एंड वो आ रहा है तो डेफिनेटली हमारा कहीं ना कहीं जो डिपेंडेंसी है, हमारी इकोनॉमी बूस्ट हो रही है. रॉ मटेरियल आ रहा है, ट्रांसपोर्ट उसको बिजनेस बन रहा है. वो रॉ मटेरियल फिनिश प्रोडक्ट बन रहा है, ट्रांसपोर्ट को बिजनेस बन रहा है. वहाँ से होलसेलर को जा रहा है, ट्रांसपोर्ट को बिजनेस मिल रहा है. अगेन गोइंग टू द रिटेल इज गेटिंग अ बिजनेस. और सिंगल प्रोडक्ट को एटलीस्ट 4 to 5 टाइम्स ट्रांसपोर्ट सिस्टम के थ्रू गुजरना पड़ता है. सो अवर इंडस्ट्री इज डूइंग वेरी वेल एंड वी रियली अप्रिशिएट द मेड इन इंडिया का जो हमारा गवर्नमेंट का जो मोटिव है. And the way people have accepted it, people are accepting the Indian products. In fact, I'll tell you about this Diwali. So हर साल दिवाली मेरे घर पे भी चाइना लाइट्स आती थी. So this time not only my house, I would say my friends, my relatives and everyone's house, I saw that मिट्टी का दिया. So कहीं ना कहीं लाखों घरों में मिट्टी के दिए यूज हो रहे हैं. So Made in India has brought a tremendous change, and definitely the economy is one of the major reasons why the economy is doing so well and everyone is so happy in the industry is because of Make in India. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Arya, to sum it up, what we've heard so far. We've heard about the opportunities, like the Make in India opportunity. We heard about the challenges, like the freight cost. And despite building networks of highways, apparently interstate movement is still a major hurdle for all the transporters. If those hurdles were to be taken away, sir, let's say in the next year or so, and the government promises smoother transport between one state to another and facilitates a movement which is seamless. In your understanding, what sort of growth are you expecting in road transport sector?
See, the growth is going to be anyways. The hurdles are only slowing it down. Because the movement, as Chirag said, the opportunities are coming up and the huge growth in terms of industrial growth is there. So that has to be completed with a complementary service like a transport. So transportation is going to be there. Only the government has to realize little more than that why these small hiccups on the road. Nobody is benefited with such things. And specifically, I would like to focus my talk to conclude on the drivers. Because the driver is the most neglected part of the whole logistical system. You see, we have attended a lot of conferences on the logistics, and driver never comes as a subject in any of those conferences. Rest everything is there, the roads, the quality of fuel, the quality of vehicle, and the government policies, everything is reflecting there, not the driver. Without the driver, everything is zero.
Absolutely. And I must bring it up, sir. At TV9, we have talked about the drivers and the condition of drivers throughout this conclave.
The whole economy includes what? The manufacturing, the mining, the agriculture, the import, the export. You deduct the driver from all these things and there is no movement. No movement, zero economy. When this is such a vital point, why the government does not focus on this? Why should he suffer? He is suffering. And we as an association, all our association, we are working for the welfare of that poor person. Because unless we make him comfortable, he should feel respected for his services. Like, the soldier is respected because he is fighting for the country at the border of the country. Similarly, he is an inside soldier. Within the country, he is fighting for every day for all of us. So he deserves proper treatment, proper remuneration, his securities, everything is required, and the government needs to work on that. I think that's the message we should take out from this conclusion. So that's what I feel. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chirag Katera, Mr. Bal Malkit Singh, and Mr. Mahinder Arya. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on this very important subject. Thank you. May I now once again call back Rajneesh Kochkave, Head of India Markets and Direct Sales, Continental Tires. He will be speaking about some of the wide-ranging solutions Continental is presenting to its customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Shweta, and thank you to all the panelists. For me, it was pretty exciting, and it made for a very good conversation also. क्योंकि ये वो बातें हैं जो कहीं न कहीं जिनसे हम काफ़ी बड़े तौर पे इत्तेफाक रखते हैं. Technology, innovation, bringing new products into the market. See, before I get into this presentation, very small thing I would like to highlight. आप ज़्यादातर companies, बड़ी companies के भी जो life cycle देखेंगे ना, it's not more than 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Big names, Kodak, Eastman, a lot of big names. I don't want to take the names of everybody. There are a lot of big names which could not survive even 100 years. We are 160 years old organization, and yet in automotive, आप कोई भी पैमाना उठा लें, we are in top 3. चाहे वो टायर्स हो, चाहे वो टेक्नोलॉजी हो, चाहे वो ऑटोमोटिव हो, you take on anything, we are in top 3. So not only surviving 150 years, but also staying relevant. And not relevant की also RAN types. Relevant wherein we are constantly featuring in top 3 either it is OEM supply, either it is after sales market supplies. So that is the company that I am here to represent. That is the confidence that I want you guys to have in the product that we offer. हम बहुत passionate है product को लेके, हमारा बहुत बड़ा खर्चा जाता है R&D में, और कई बार हम इतने ज़्यादा पैशनेट हैं कि वी एज ए सेल्स गाय हम कई बार इरिटेट हो जाते हैं कि भाई ये प्रोडक्ट ठीक तो है, आप दे दो मार्केट में, नहीं देंगे. और ये मतलब आई हैव बीन हियरिंग दिस फॉर वेरी लॉन्ग पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. वी विल नॉट लॉन्च और इनिशिएट और गिव आउट एनी प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट, चाहे वो पैसेंजर कार हो, चाहे वो ट्रक एंड बस रेडियल हो, if it is not top of the line and if it is not giving value to the customer. हमारे यहाँ कॉस्ट इफेक्टिवनेस से ज्यादा वैल्यू सेलिंग पे बात की जाती है, एंड वैल्यू सेलिंग इज समथिंग व्हेन यू लुक एट अ 360 डिग्री पिक्चर. आई वाज टॉकिंग टू वन ऑफ आवर कलीग्स हियर कि इट्स नॉट अबाउट प्राइसिंग, इनिशियल प्राइसिंग पे हम बात नहीं करते, हम वैल्यू सेलिंग की बात करते हैं. सो आई विल ट्राई एंड टेक यू थ्रू कपल ऑफ इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग दैट आई वांट टू टॉक अबाउट. पहला तो किस तरीके से रिट्रेडेबिलिटी पे हम जा रहे हैं, क्यों हम रिट्रेडेबिलिटी करा पाते हैं, और जो टेक्नोलॉजी की बात हम कर रहे हैं 360 डिग्री जो यहाँ पे कनेक्ट सोल्यूशन का हमने यहाँ पे एक डेमो भी करा हुआ है, वो क्या चीज है, हाउ इज इट इफेक्टिव. बट वी बिफोर वी गेट इनटू दैट, देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फर्स्ट टू आवर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. कैन वी प्ले द वीडियो? So this was in I would say not exactly everything that we wanted to put into a small video, but हाँ जितने भी major highlights हैं, and you could have, I mean you would have seen there are a lot of firsts to our organization, majorly being the patented tire, जो pattern होता है passenger vehicle में जो pattern होता है, and because of that we take care of traction, braking, cornering, maneuverability. ये सारी चीजें आपके पैटर्न से आती हैं. अगर मैं पैटर्न हटा दूं तो इट बिकम्स अ वेरी फ्लैट टायर, और उस पे ग्रिप और कंट्रोल विल बिकम एक्सट्रीमली डिफिकल्ट. सो वी वर द फर्स्ट वंस इन 1904 टू एक्चुअली गिव अ पैटर्न. उसके पहले पैटर्न नहीं होते थे. और अभी भी इफ यू वुड सी, आई थिंक इन फॉर्मूला 1 जो टायर्स चलते हैं दे आर वेरी फ्लूइड, एंड इफ एनीवन हैज सीन दैट टायर, उसमें पैटर्न नहीं होते हैं. दे आर वेरी वेरी सॉफ्ट, almost like you can push the tire inside. The rubber is so soft. So another one topic that I think it is coming up a lot of time, and it will keep on coming up, sustainability. सस्टेनेबिलिटी आज थोड़ा आई वुड से इज बिकम मोर रेलिवेंट बिकॉज ऑफ जो आप अपने आसपास चीजें होते हुए देख रहे हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज, टेम्परेचर चेंज, जहाँ पे गर्मी होनी चाहिए वहाँ पे बर्फ पड़ रही है, जहाँ पे सूखा होना चाहिए वहाँ पे बाढ़ आ रही है. I mean, if you look at US, look at Dubai, look at even in India, you can very well see the impact of climate change is pretty visible. But if you had noticed, I think long back we started to think about sustainability. We were very clear about that, this is something that needs to be taken care of. And one compound that we said, taraxegum, which is basically plant-based hota hai, और उसका जो साइकिल टायर, आई मीन वी आर वेरी फेमस ऑल्सो इन साइकिल टायर्स. हमारा जो टूर दे फ्रांस होता है उसमें वी आर दी मेजर प्रोवाइडर्स ऑफ टायर्स एंड ऑल्सो वी आर द मेजर स्पॉन्सर. बहुत सालों से कर रहे हैं. तो साइकिल के टायरों में दिस इज समथिंग दैट हैज नाउ गॉन इनटू सीरियल प्रोडक्शन. मतलब लॉट ऑफ कंपनीज ऑल्सो डेमोन्स्ट्रेट टेक्नोलॉजी, demonstrate products to also talk about their technology and technological prowess. But बहुत सारी चीज़ों को serial production आने में बहुत time लगता है, because sustainability is one thing, but offering a product which is sustainable also has to be feasible. मैं आपको 50,000 के बजाय लाख रुपए जोड़ी का टायर बताऊं और कहूं कि भाई उतना ही चलेगा, but ये पूरा sustainable है. I don't think there would be many takers for that. So sustainability also has to be something which is feasible. तो वो जो जर्नी होती है कि हमने एक चीज डेवलप तो कर ली, but to make it business, like to make it sustainable, that has its own journey. तो यहाँ पे हम वही बताना चाह रहे हैं in terms of how have we spoken about sustainability. If you'd see, we talk about dandelion plant, again the same taraxegum that we are looking at. And we have also tried something with PET bottles, uske plastic se bhi, but we are still in the process. It's not come under serial production. Where we are, how big are we as an organization? So we are practically in every country. 58, 59 countries may we are present. Sorry, 58 locations we have. And, 58 countries, 550 locations. And this is expanding. I mean, we also would want to see कि जहाँ पे हम पैसा लगा रहे हैं, what is the kind of return on investment that we are looking at. Because जहाँ भी हम जाएंगे, either it is automotive or it is tires, which is very capital intensive. Again, when we provide a solution, we try to ensure कि ये solution किसी एक हिस्से को ना हो, कि हम सिर्फ ऑन रोड टायर बना रहे हैं, या सिर्फ हम पैसेंजर कार टायर बना रहे हैं, या हम सिर्फ ऑफ रोड बना रहे हैं, या OHT बना रहे हैं. तो यहाँ पे हमने ये भी कोशिश करा है, एंड वी आर प्रिटी सक्सेसफुल इन ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स, कि हमारे जो टायर्स है वो ऑफ रोड पे भी चल रहे हैं, ऑन रोड पे भी चल रहे हैं, रीजनल एप्लीकेशन पे भी हैं, हाईवे एप्लीकेशन पे भी हैं, एंड देर ऑल इनफैक्ट I would say in all aspects, or हर तरह की conditions पे, our tires have been giving one of the best results. तो मैं इसकी शुरू में भी मैंने कहा था कि I will touch upon something जो retreadability की हम बात करते हैं या molding की हम बात करते हैं, remolding. खास करके जब हम TBR की बात करते हैं, तो वहाँ पे one of the major, I would say, play also is about how many times can we retread the tire to get the complete value. So when we say value selling, it's not about कि मैंने कितने रुपए का टायर खरीदा और वो मुझे इनिशियल माइलेज कितना दे रहा है. I also need to understand कि अगर मैंने 100 टायर खरीदे हैं और मेरे को लग रहा है that the mileage of the tire is let's say 1 लाख किलोमीटर, मेरे 100 टायरों में कितने ऐसे टायर हैं 60%, 70%, 80%, 90% जो एंड ऑफ लाइफ तक पहुंच रहे हैं. तो माइलेज अपनी जगह सही है, कॉस्ट अपनी जगह सही है, बट व्हाट इज द नंबर और परसेंटेज ऑफ द टोटल टायर्स दैट आई एम यूजिंग विच एक्चुअली गोज टू द एंड ऑफ द लाइफ. सेकेंडली, एंड ऑफ द लाइफ अगर जा रहा है तो क्या वो सेकेंड रीट्रेड के लिए जा सकता है, फर्स्ट रीट्रेड जा सकता है? आई कैन से कि मुझे रीट्रेड नहीं कराना है, एब्सोल्युटली फाइन. व्हाट इज द वैल्यू द केसिंग इज फेचिंग मी? तो ये सारे कुछ सवाल होते हैं जो वी ऑलवेज वांट टू आस्क, वी वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड before we make a sales pitch to any fleet for that matter. So when we come to the retradability or when we come to the casing value, we believe we have the best casing in the industry. And why we believe this? Because whenever we have gone out and met most of the retraders, चाहे वो Max हो, TVS हो, Indag हो, they've always given us this feedback that boss, your tires have the best casing. It's just that हमको casing बहुत मिलते नहीं हैं. Now why that has happened? I just wanted to highlight. इसको हमने कहा है supreme technology. So that is what we have developed in the bead, जिसकी वजह से दो चीजें होती है. एक तो जो आपकी माउंटिंग डीमाउंटिंग जो एक आई वुड से जो प्रोसेस होता है वो कई बार काफी जगह कई बार टाइट हो जाता है, मतलब आप ठीक से डिमाउंट नहीं कर पा रहे, माउंट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, तो वो भी कई बार बीड डैमेज करता है. एंड सेकेंडली व्हाट इज द ड्यूरेबिलिटी ऑफ द बीड. सो विद दिस टेक्नोलॉजी वी हैव बीन एबल टू 4 times increase the durability of the bead and made it much more easier to demount and mount the tires. To make a better understanding, I think it will be good if we can see a small video on the same. Can we have that video?
Tires undergo a great deal of wear and tear every day. This results in high heat generation at their contact point with vehicle rims, leading to tire degradation. Mounting, demounting, and retreading of the tires not only strains the bead areas, but also makes them brittle and susceptible to breakage. And all of this results in a loss of casing value and tire life for you. This is why Continental has specifically developed the Conti Suprim technology for our tires. Our new rim strip compound with superior anti-aging properties enhances tire bead flexibility, strength, and tear resistance. This results in robust and durable tire beads that improve tire retreadability. Additionally, a tire with Conti Suprim technology is 4 times easier to mount as compared to a tire with a conventional compound. Enhanced bead flexibility from the technology subsequently minimizes damage caused by mounting and dismounting. Conti Suprim technology ensures that our tires withstand heat degradation and are perfect for retreading throughout their lifetime. We are happy to announce that Conti Suprim technology has now been incorporated into all radial tires manufactured at our plant in India.
This brings me to the second part, which is the 360-degree solution that we're talking about. देखिए मैंने शुरू में भी बोला था we have lot of technology in terms of vehicle management. गाड़ियों के लिए हमारे पास बहुत टेक्नोलॉजी है, बहुत सारे टेलीमैटिक्स है. आजकल जो BS6 और नई गाड़ियां आ रही हैं उनमें ऑलरेडी ये इनबिल्ट होता है. आपको उसमें सब दिख जाता है, गाड़ी कितनी देर खड़ी हो रही है, कितने स्पीड पे चल रही है, कैसी ब्रेकिंग लग रही है, कहाँ कहाँ कितनी देर गाड़ी खड़ी रही है. सो यू गेट ऑल द डेटा which the telematics is able to give you, and there are a lot of options as well. So if you're driving a vehicle or if you have a vehicle which is like not have come fitted, factory fitted with these telematics, you can also buy it from the market. There are a lot of companies which offer a very competitive price. You don't need to buy it. You can also become a service provider. But when it comes to tires, and as somebody said, and not somebody, we also believe that as drivers are like key to the entire transport business, your vehicle is as good or as bad as the tires that you drive on. So from a tires perspective also, I don't see we have a very reliable data in terms of tire management and tire maintenance, if I can say that. अभी जो ये टेक्नोलॉजी है, this is only I would say applicable for tubeless tire. तो वो थोड़ा सा limitation है because हिंदुस्तान में आज भी if I look at the data, we are not more than 8 to 9%, 10% of the total potential of TBR as the tubeless potential. Slowly and slowly, I mean, we are moving towards the tubeless part as far as the TBR is concerned. We would, so that becomes more relevant. But फिर भी जहाँ पे भी हम tubeless use कर रहे हैं, this can be an extremely good tool to use. इसके दो फॉर्मेट्स हैं. एक अगर आपकी गाड़ी 24 घंटे 48 घंटे में वापस आ रही है आपके यार्ड पे, तो देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड यार्ड रीडर, यू कैन टेक हेल्प ऑफ दैट. But if the vehicle is, let's say, on move for 7 days, 10 days, then you can always look at something we called CCU, which gives you a real-time data. To explain it more, I think it's better if you play the video.
The wheel, always a driver of change and a driver of business. But now we've reinvented it. Welcome to the second age of the wheel, an age of data in which managing your fleet becomes easier than ever. Because with Continental Digital Solutions, you are now directly connected to your tires. The data we collect and analyze for you constantly inform you about your tire's pressure, warn about potential damages even before they occur, and let you know when it's time for a change and which tire to choose. This way, you can not only reliably plan maintenance, you can also lower your fuel consumption and carbon emissions, whilst keeping your drivers safely on the road. But most of all, you get more uptime for your fleet, while your mind has a bit less to worry about.
So this is the 360 that we are talking about. इसमें तीन तरीके की सर्विसेज हैं. जो थर्ड वाली सर्विसेज है उसकी मैं बात कर रहा था, which is basically meant for the tubeless segment. First two segment, the core services and the advanced services, they can be used even for the tube type tires. And when we say core services and the advanced services, these are services that I would not say that they are something which people have not heard of, or these are something, ये services ऐसी हैं जो बहुत ही कुछ अनूठा हम कुछ करना चाहते हैं. It's just that we would deliver what we commit to or what we are promising. Core services, very simple, all of us know. It's not clear, no? What it is written is not visible. It's something to do with Zoom. कोई नहीं, what I'll try and explain. So the core services में हम बात कर रहे हैं स्क्रैप टायर एनालिसिस. मेरे हिसाब से किसी भी फ्लीट में अगर आपको स्टडी करना है तो द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज डू अ स्क्रैप एनालिसिस, बिकॉज दैट टेल्स यू हाउ योर टायर मेंटेनेंस इज, that tells you how your vehicle maintenance is. They will tell you the reasons of premature failures. As owners also, I think I would encourage that, as and when, try and have a look at your scrap analysis in terms of to understand how the failures are happening and why the failures are happening. Because as a team, when we move into any fleet, the first thing that we do is do a scrap analysis to understand the pain points of the fleet. कि भाई आपकी दिक्कतें कहाँ आ रही हैं और किस तरीके से हम आपको क्या एडवाइस दे सकते हैं. So that is a core service that we do, trainings, and again, as I was discussing, many a times when owners keep on saying कि आपको PSI इतना रखना चाहिए या ये ऐसे करनी चाहिए, drivers सुनते हैं, कभी नहीं भी सुनते हैं, but when it comes from, when we do it professionally, or let's say when it comes from some trainers, I think it creates an impact. They also understand कि भाई अगर हमारे यहाँ पे लोग बोल रहे हैं तो it is not कि कुछ ऐसी मजाक चल रहा है. These things have a certain relevance. तो चाहे वो ड्राइवर ट्रेनिंग हो, फिटर ट्रेनिंग हो, These are the core services that we see. The moment we go into the advanced services, that is where for us we have something called FCT, जो हम fleet check tool बोलते हैं. It's an electronic device. We have an electronic device which is called probe. I think everything is on display here, which does not require any manual data entry into the system. So they would basically do the entire management. They will check into the tires, do a physical inspection of the tire, and again a report gets generated in terms of what is the condition of the vehicles, what needs to improve, how are the tires being maintained, what is the pressure that we're looking at, and based on the lot of times fleet also gives us the data that ये tire लगे कब थे, और अभी जो RTD होता है उसके basis पे we also give you a projected mileage, which also helps for a reality check, क्योंकि जब भी टायर बेचा जाता है तो आपको एक projected mileage बताई जाती है. तो based on the RTD, when you look at the projected mileage, आपको भी ये समझ में आता है कि भाई इस टायर की क्या माइलेज हमको एक्सपेक्टेड थी और क्या माइलेज हम देख सकते हैं. सो दीज आर द टू बेसिक सर्विसेज दैट वी डू. और जब हम ट्यूब टाइप बेचते हैं या ट्यूब टाइप टायर की फिटमेंट होती है, तो दीज आर द टू थिंग दैट वी कीप ऑन डूइंग maybe every couple of months, so that you also get a report in terms of how your vehicle is getting maintained and what is your projected mileage, how is it changing. और ये ओनर से ज्यादा ड्राइवर के लिए ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, बिकॉज द मोमेंट वी टेल देम सी योर 140 अगर आप रख रहे हो, तो हाउ योर प्रोजेक्टेड माइलेज ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम इज इंक्रीजिंग और डिक्रीजिंग इफ यू आर नॉट फॉलोइंग, तो फिर उनको भी समझाना आसान होता है. सिर्फ बोलते रहने से कि ऐसा रखना चाहिए ऐसा रखना चाहिए, जब आप उसको हर 2 महीने में डेमोन्स्ट्रेट कर देते हो ना कि दिस इज हाउ सी इट इज हैपनिंग, तो उनका भी बाइन बढ़ने लगता है. दे ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि ठीक है, दीज आर द थिंग्स नॉट फॉर सेइंग सेक, but they actually make an impact. And the last is digital solution. I think we have another video on that that will explain in a more detailed fashion what we do in the digital solution. Can we play that video?
Managing a commercial fleet can be challenging. As a fleet manager, you always want to ensure that your tires are properly inflated, fuel and mileage costs are controlled, and that your trucks are on the road without any issues. Continental's internal studies have found that a fleet of 10 vehicles can save up to 35,000 ringgit annually just by inflating the tires correctly and by making full use of the tires without scrapping them early. We realize the multiple issues that you face as a customer. And that's why we would like to introduce you to Conti 360's comprehensive range of services and solutions to help you ensure your tires are taken care of the Continental way. As part of our core services, our team conducts scrap tire analysis to give you a detailed review of your tire's performance and highlights areas where you can focus on improving tire usage. Moreover, we offer training to your fleet maintenance team and drivers on efficient handling of tire usage and maintenance, effects of driving behavior on fuel and tire costs, and fleet audit reports for your scrap tires. Our advanced services include the Conti Fleet Check service, where our qualified technical customer service team visits your fleet to perform tire inspections on a periodic basis. This includes monitoring your tire characteristics such as pressure, tread depth, and other tire-related conditions. Post-checkup, we provide extensive reports on data to reduce fleet costs, information for easier maintenance of tires, and peace of mind knowing your tire operations are maintained at an excellent standard. Our digital solutions include the Conti Connect Tire Information and Management System that helps increase tire mileage and optimize the fuel consumption of your fleet. Moreover, the system monitors your tires on the road and sends alerts in case of punctures or sudden pressure losses. And once your vehicle comes back to the yard reader station collects data from sensors and transmits it to your fleet team for corrective actions. Conti Connect can also be integrated with your onboard GPS, which allows you to monitor fleet tire performance and receive alerts through our web portal. Vehicles on Conti Connect have realized reduced fuel spend of 3%, increase in tire mileage by 20%, and better road safety of the vehicles. Let us take care of your tire management so you can take care of your business. Contact us now to know more.
तो इसमें आपने कहीं पे देखा होगा that it says it saves your cost by 35,000 ringgits annually. तो जब मैंने भी ये वीडियो देखा तो मैंने कहा भाई ये रिंगिट में तो काम होता है नहीं, ये तो मलेशिया का करेंसी है, वाई आर वी पुटिंग इट हियर. सो द फैक्ट इज दैट वी आर स्टिल इन प्रोसेस. 3-4 फ्लीट्स पे भी हमारा ये चल रहा है, बट वी हैव नॉट रीच्ड अ पोजिशन और अ प्लेस वेयर वी कैन वेरी कंक्लूसिवली पुट अक्रॉस कि इतने हजार रुपए की हमने आपको बचत करके दिए. This 35,000 ringgit is what we have concluded in Malaysia market in the fleets there, and that is why we have mentioned here. So this is a offering that is valid for today. Secondly, anyone who wants to understand the 360-degree solution, wants to have a closer look at the different elements of this tubeless thing, on the kiosk, you're more than welcome to come and have a discussion with us. And if there's anything that you would like to ask me or my team, we are accessible. If there's anything that anyone would like to ask now, I'm more than happy to respond.
Now there are 3-4 companies in India who are offering AMC for tires. So do you think in near future Continental will be able to provide the AMC? So they take care of the entire tire solutions. So they take care of the entire tire solution, even on the highway support they provide, and the charge on a per kilometer, per tire per kilometer. So don't you think, I mean, the way you have shown the presentation in terms of the technology which you're using, probably there could be one more this thing that you take care of the entire fleet with your team and we pay you on a per kilometer, and this is now the norm. I mean, there are 3 manufacturers I know in India who are doing it.
Yes, thank you, sir, for the question. Absolutely right, because most of the fleets that now I meet, they're like, boss, we are in transportation business, and we are in the business of moving things from one place to other at a profitable margin and grow the business. I don't want to, look into the troubles of tires. Can you take that trouble for me? I'm willing to pay for it also. So this is a feedback that we have received. I cannot commit to you or give you a categorical data or date that by which this is, but I would say as a fleet management or as an organization who are very, I would say, focused on the fleet management system, trying to develop technologies and solutions which basically help you, that would be the natural evolution. But it will take some time. I think we are also trying to establish our foothold, get some more feedback, try and see what better can we do, because I strongly believe that this is a continuous journey of learning. But yes, in sometime in future, once we have a certain, I would say, understanding, expertise, knowledge, we would definitely want to explore this. Natural evolution, I would say. Okay, if no questions, then thank you so much. And Shweta, back to you.
Thank you, Rajneesh. And before we move forward, let me also quickly take a minute to announce that Leaders of Road Transport award ceremony is likely to take place in the first week of March. Nominations are open, so those of you who'd like to nominate, kindly do so in your respective categories. I'll repeat, Leaders of Road Transport Awards for 2023. Nominations are open, likely to take place in the first week of March. And let's quickly move on to our concluding panel, which is on sustainable roadmap for the sector. Now, remember, world is at a very critical juncture, and the Transport Secretary also highlighted the need to mitigate pollution-related concerns while we are also talking about moving ahead. So moving ahead, but sustainably doing so. Now, various studies have suggested that road transport sector contributes highly to the problem of pollution in the country as well as outside of the country. So how do you really mitigate between building a better future but also building a future which is sustainable in the long run without penalizing the people who are either a part of the ecosystem, who are suffering as a result of the pollution from the ecosystem? It's a challenge that the industry will have to mitigate, and let's understand how it's doing so. Now, let me call upon Shivjeet Jaiswal, who's the Director of Highways on Wheels, and Ashwin Agarwal, Partner Safe and Secure Logistics, please, to discuss on the future of sustainability. Ashwin, Shivjeet, thank you very much for taking time out. This is the concluding panel, and this is also, I believe, the most important one, because we are talking about a sector that is already flagelling. It is suffering due to not having a lot of bottlenecks and not having enough will on an implementation level when it comes to policy making. Although the sector has done extensively and very, very well in the past couple of years, but it continues to mitigate challenges. One of the major challenges that a lot of transporters are now faced with is sustainability. How do you concur with your dream to move towards a more sustainable fleet and fleet operations while also ensuring that you have enough margins? Ashwin, let me begin with you. What sort of steps have you taken in your business to move towards sustainability?
Yeah, hi. Ashwin Agarwal, Safe and Secure Logistics. Thank you for inviting us.
Okay. Yes, sir. Please continue.
See, logistics as a transport is divided into various fraternity out here. Are we talking only about trucks, which contains the 85%? Or are we talking about, other businesses also in transport, which is trading in transportation, in warehousing, freight forwarding, or, other put together? If we put all these verticals together, I think the logistics industry, all the organized players are all crossing 500 crores of turnover, and they all are doing very well, and which can be seen in the stock market. You name the name of the logistics company, all their stock prices are above, very high. So which sectors are we addressing to so we can discuss about sustainability?
I want to talk about not just commercial, but also, passenger vehicles. Well, there's a lot of thrust on passenger vehicles when it comes to sustainability. People are buying more EVs. Don't think the similar effort has been seen on the commercial side of things. And of course, there are challenges as to why. The cost of capital is very high. There is not enough charging infrastructure. So first, let's talk about the commercial size.
So are we talking about passenger vehicle, which is electric vehicle, which is used as taxi?
Let's do that first.
Are we doing that
Absolutely.
first? Okay. So electric vehicles on taxi basis, which is, limited to city, because the available kilometers on an electric vehicles is around 500 kilometers on one charge. And when you go on a hilly section, the 500 kilometers will come down to around 350 kilometers. That if any organized company like, Blue Arrow Taxi, if you must have heard about it, the Blue Taxi which got funding of more than 2,000 crore today, they are putting up their charging station, and all the call centers in Delhi or entire NCR is fully under electric vehicles. So, and I think it's doing very well. Similarly, in Bombay, they're not such a large player with, like something like Blue Taxi, but Uber, Ola, they all are moving into green energy currently. And that is the demand on the requirement of today's economy. Because if we import less of crude oil, our money appreciates from 83 rupees. I think we might come down to 70 rupees if we stop importing the crude oil to currently what we are importing to such a large extent.
Okay. All right. And let's talk about commercial sector. Let's talk about the big trucks.
Big trucks on the electric vehicles?
Absolutely.
So currently in India, the big trucks like Ashok Leyland or Tata Motors or Mercedes-Benz, they do not have any vehicles above 9 tons on electric vehicles. It is proposed currently it is not available. The vehicle which is available today is by Mahindra and Mahindra, who's the market leader today in your last mile delivery, who sells around 20,000 of last mile delivery trucks, which he's tied up with all the biggest logistics company in India, like I would say Delivery is one of them, Mahindra Logistics is one of them, and DHL is one of them. So it is compulsory if they are taking a warehouse contract of 10 lakh square feet. So they are forced to take minimum 250 last mile delivery vehicles on EV, which is going to reduce your cost of last mile delivery, I think by roughly around 4 to 5 rupees a kilometer. And I think that is doing very well today.
And how about buses?
Okay, buses also, if we go to see, it is city to city. Now, it is the government subsidy which is taking buses in Bombay. Switch Mobility by Ashok Leyland has got good contracts. Olectra has got good contracts from the buses side. And I think as per the government norms, I think 90% in the next 4 to 5 years, the vehicle will be converted into electric vehicles, or they will be converted into CNG vehicles, or now proposed, which is Reliance and Adani is eyeing, is hydrogen vehicles.
Okay, Ashwin, thank you for that. Thank you for setting the context. I'm told we also have our third panelist who's joined us, Suyansh Gupta, Director, Best Roadways, is also with us. Suyansh, please do join us. Shivjeet, I think it's now clear with what Ashwin said.
हम हिंदी में बात करेंगे तो ज़्यादा बेटर होगा.
बिल्कुल हिंदी में बात करेंगे. It's now clear with what Ashwin said. उन्होंने कहा कि इम्प्लीमेंटेशन की बात करें तो कमर्शियल साइड ऑफ थिंग्स मुश्किल लगता है. पैसेंजर व्हीकल्स में अभी भी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन हमें ज़्यादा दिख रहा है व्हेन इट कम्स टू ईवीज. मैं आपसे जानना चाहूँगी आपके अपने एक्सपीरियंस में, आप क्योंकि रोड ट्रांसपोर्ट नेटवर्क के एक लीडर हैं, किस हद तक का इम्प्लीमेंटेशन देखते हैं आप इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल्स का ऑन ग्राउंड?
बहुत अच्छा हो जाएगा. कुछ दिन में जो मोदी जी और गडकरी जी जो सोच रहे हैं, उनकी जो सोच है उस हिसाब से बहुत जल्दी ही, मेरी कल मीटिंग हो गई थी टाटा वालों के साथ में, उन्होंने बताया कि अप्रैल और मई तक हम 19 टनर की गाड़ी ले आएंगे. सेम लेलैंड वालों से बात हो गई, वो भी जून तक लेके आएंगे एलएनजी और इलेक्ट्रिकल व्हीकल्स.
ओके, तो आपने कहा है कि सरकार से आपको अश्योरेंस मिला है कि जल्दी नए प्रपोजल्स भी क्लियर हो जाएंगे.
जी जी
ठीक है. और अभी अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं कि आपके नेटवर्क में कितने लोगों के पास इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लीट है, या आप कितने ऐसे लोगों को जानते हैं जिनके पास इलेक्ट्रिक फ्लीट है?
नहीं, अभी हमारा जो सेगमेंट है सब 42 टनर 35 टनर्स के हैं, तो उसमें तो अभी वो गाड़ियां आई ही नहीं अभी तक.
ओके, अभी तक गाड़ी आई नहीं है, तो अभी प्रपोजल है आगे जो कि पूरा हो पाएगा, होपफुली जल्दी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में आएगा. All right, let me also get Suyansh into the conversation. Suyansh, we begin by understanding what kind of momentum we are seeing in the EV space. Now, we are talking about, of course, sustainability. No conversation around sustainability is complete without talking about the goals for electrification of the fleet. Now, we understand that not a lot of capacities are currently available, currently permissible. Once the government clears and once the operators and the manufacturers, the OEMs start building them, it will be made possible. When we talk about electrification of fleet, do you think we have enough infrastructure at the moment in the country?
Good evening, everyone. I think it's like you pointed out the question. The issue is about the ecosystem. Ecosystem is yet to get ready for the interstate highways. If you see the electric charging stations for EVs, even for passenger vehicles, the electric station chargers are not enough right now. But we have intra-city vehicles. We've been doing pilot through Tata Ace. There is a EV introduced by Tata Ace for like 1 tonner, 1.5 tonner vehicles for last mile delivery. We've been doing some pilots on that. But when it comes to long haul vehicles, I think there is a long way to go right now. And there are a lot of models, I think, in the offing. But right now, nothing has been materialized so far. And Mr. Gadkari also focuses on LNG and hydrogen cell quite frequently, more than electric trucks. I think LNG and hydrogen cell vehicles would have a better acceptance going forward for long haul vehicles. But so far we have not seen any, at least for me, at least for my company, we have not seen any progress on the long haul side of electric vehicles.
Okay, thank you for that honest assessment. Ashwin, one of the challenges that a lot of people, when we talk about EVs, is that we have not perhaps talked about what happens to the batteries, because EVs essentially run on batteries and those critical minerals are hard to find in the country. So perhaps fully electrification may not be the road ahead when it comes to sustainability. What, according to you, should be the sustainable solutions that this country should be opting for?
Says India is the only country in the world where all the alternate source of energy is allowed out here. So I would say the OEMs like Tata Motors or the other ones, so they are making vehicles on CNG, they are making vehicles on LNG, they are making vehicles on hydrogen, they are making vehicles on your electric vehicles, they are making vehicles in all sorts of methanol. So they want basically the crude oil to be imported, which has to be curbed. So that is the reason in our country, all sorts of fuel is welcomed, all alternate source of energy is welcomed, and that is how all your OEMs will start manufacturing all the kinds of vehicles available.
And do you think the steps that they're taking at the moment should be enough to meet an electrification dream for India? Do you think the OEMs and the thrust that they have seen towards hybrid vehicles, your totally electric vehicles, is that thrust enough?
See, hybrid is a different technology and it is patented only by Toyota in the world. So hybrid, I have not heard about in the commercial segment, but in your personal cars and your last mile delivery in city, yes, not depending upon availability of battery or charging.
उस कंडीशन को, उस एनवायरनमेंट को मद्देनजर रखते हुए क्या ये पॉसिबल भी है कि हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात करें? क्या हम सस्टेनेबल सॉल्यूशंस की जो बात करते हैं कि ऊपरी तौर पर है या ग्राउंड लेवल पे भी आपको कुछ कॉन्वर्सेशंस दिखती हैं, सुनाई देती हैं?
I think right now the EV transition or the EV concept is a little bit of a sell, like if it gives you a competitive advantage. If you tell your customers that you're EV friendly or you have some net zero emission targets, it's more like a branding. I would say it's more like a luxury right now, and it is possible through like large fleet operators or transporters which are more organized than the most people. But going forward, EV or LNG or hydrogen is the future. EV has got the first mover advantage in passenger vehicles. But I would believe that LNG or hydrogen cell going forward could have a big impact in reducing our crude oil imports, as Ashwin Agarwal correctly pointed out, that we have a huge deficit, huge dependence on the imports of crude oil, which would really have a positive impact if we focus our energy, not just pollution-wise, already cities are getting polluted. It will have a positive impact on the pollution, reducing the carbon footprint, as well as reducing the import bill of our economy.
Okay. Ashwin, budget is around the corner. बजट आने वाला है 1 फरवरी को और फेम 3 रिलेटेड अनाउंसमेंट्स भी पेंडिंग है. क्या सब्सिडीज जो अभी तक मिल रही थी ईवी को वो मिलती रहेंगी? क्या सब्सिडीज रिटेलर्स को मिलेंगी, हमको मिलेंगी अडॉप्ट करने के लिए ईवी, जो कि ग्राहक हैं उनको मिलेंगी, या मैन्युफैक्चरिंग साइड मिलेंगी? आपको क्या लगता है कि सरकार को इस वक्त किस चीज पे फोकस करना चाहिए? टू मेक इट चीपर फॉर पीपल टू ओन अ कार which is an electric vehicle, or to make it to make the infrastructure better perhaps? What are you hoping FAME will do?
No, I am trying to understand, are we focusing on electric vehicles or are we talking about
so
sustainability
on the
of
ecosystem
ecosystem where EV on a commercial sector is still a vision. It is not currently available apart from the last mile delivery or one-tonner vehicles. Other vehicles are still to come. It is like a science movie that this vehicles will be available. So currently it is not available. So if you're talking about sustainability of transport, it's a different question. If you're restricting ourselves to EV, so then it's a different question. So what are we actually looking at currently?
Currently, I'm hoping if you could tell us if you have any expectations from the FAME policy, which is mostly on the passenger side of things.
On the passenger side of things.
Then I'll come to commercial. Give me some time to come to commercial.
No, that's what I'm asking you. See, on the passenger side of things, as I said earlier, whether it's your passenger transport, like people like us, So Uber, Ola and your personal cars. I think that message is loud and clear to all the Indians that boss, we need to save our country. We don't want to go like Pakistan and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. Our money has to be strong. So I think everybody is trying to adopt EVs. And especially in a state like UP, if you go to see, all the auto rickshaws are also in electric today. If you want to go anywhere from anywhere in UP, it's all auto rickshaws are EV. So for us, I think adoption of EV on a personal car and on a taxi front, it will be very high. It will be very fast. So that is from the EV point of view, from the passenger car. Similarly, you're talking from the bus point of view. Bus point of view, that is by the government, and government has, I think all cities, the major A plus city and the B plus city, have already given 1,000 truck bus electric orders to companies like Electra, PMI, Switch Mobility, Tata Motors, who are all already on the implementation and supplying of the electric buses.
Fair enough. And let's talk about the commercial side of things also. Since we've talked about passenger side, we do see that there is a faster adoption on the passenger side, obviously because there is an existing ecosystem. But when it comes to buses specifically, there are a lot of placements of orders, CNG buses ka, EV buses ka. Do you think that is also likely to go up now? If yes, by what percent?
As the transport minister who was here earlier, he said 2026, all the Bombay buses would be either CNG or it would be electric or it would be hydrogen. So I think that they will achieve their target in the next 2 to 3 years, which is not, we're not seeing it very far, because all the manufacturers today, the newer manufacturers, are all implementing only EV vehicles.
All right, fair enough. Thank you, Ashwin. शिवजी, जब हम बात करते हैं सस्टेनेबिलिटी की और सस्टेनेबल सॉल्यूशंस की या सस्टेनेबल सॉल्यूशंस को अडॉप्ट करने की, आपको ट्रांसपोर्टर होने के नाते आपको क्या लगता है कि किस तरीके का अडॉप्शन आप देख रहे हैं मार्केट में सस्टेनेबल सॉल्यूशंस को लेकर?
अभी फिलहाल मुंबई या कोलंबो के मार्केट में ऐसा कुछ दिख नहीं रहे कि ईवी स्टेशन आ गए हैं या एलएनजी के स्टेशन आ गए हैं, बहुत कम आए हैं।
और क्या इस बारे में लोग बातचीत करते हैं? क्या इस बारे में कोई चर्चा भी हो रही है कि नहीं हो रही है?
यस, चर्चा तो हो रही है, काफी चर्चा हो रही है।
किस लेवल पे चर्चा हो रही है? लोग आपस में बात कर रहे हैं या आप जाके सरकार से बात कर रहे हैं, सरकार आपसे आके बात कर रही है?
सरकार से तो बात हो रही है, बट हमारी तो डायरेक्ट बात नहीं हो रही है। बट जो हमारी जो कंपनियां हैं जो जहां से हम मटेरियल उठाते हैं, वो हमें इंकरेज कर रहे हैं कि आप एलएनजी व्हीकल्स या ईवी व्हीकल्स ये लगाइए करके, वो हमें कर रही हैं।
All right. And Ashwin, coming back to you, I want to focus this time around on the commercial aspect of things. In your assessment and your understanding of reading the market, how far are we from achieving a dream of a more sustainable future when it comes to, and you said it's like a textbook thing right now, it's a science fiction at the moment, because we are talking about a realm we have not touched just as yet. When it comes to sustainability of a commercial fleet in your future, maybe 10 years from now, 15 years from now, what is your vision of it?
Commercial vehicles currently run on diesel. So are we talking about those vehicles currently for
yes,
the sustainability?
Sir. Absolutely, sir.
Okay. So I would say 10 years back when Modi was elected as the PM of India, okay, he went around all the countries in the world requesting them to have a factory in India and something called Make in India. His effort was there, but he was not successful that time because the cost which was projected by the committee that Indian logistics cost is 13 to 14% of the GDP, which was the wrong figure and the wrong thing, which I think Mr. Nitin Gadkari was appointed as the transport minister, and luckily we have him from the last 10 years. And I think he has done a marvelous job for this country. And so I'm a very positive person, so I would say that it is not a question of sustainability out here. What you can see in a vehicle today, every document is available on Vahan API. So today you want to search of any vehicle, whether the dues are paid, not paid, it is available. A driver verification is available on Sarathi. The entire API is available. Your FASTag data, so you can track any vehicles going from point A to point B on a FASTag data. The road in India, which has been implemented like Bombay to Delhi, earlier our truck used to take from 5 to 6 days, currently we reach in 3 days. Plus the warehousing where the loading and unloading the vehicle used to not get unloaded for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. that the warehouse space, which has increased from 25,000 square feet to 25 lakh square feet for all the bigger corporates, the vehicle is getting unloaded in 3 hours. So the vehicle which was running from Bombay to Delhi was around 5,000 kilometers. I think Suresh is the market leader in Bombay-Delhi route. He would confirm, I think all his vehicles should run around 7 to 8,000 kilometers currently.
Are they running 7 to 8,000 kilometers?
I think in fact more than that. We have like 3 round trips, so we around 9,000 kilometers.
So that is a remarkable achievement for a transport operator who we couldn't even do 5,000 kilometers and we are doing 9,000 kilometers. So I don't think there is a chance of sustainability. There is enough, it's only an efficiency of the vehicle which has to be utilized. If you burn kilometers, you will make money. And I'm pretty much sure an organized player like him, he must be, all his vehicles would be in profit situation today. It is not in a loss.
So when we talk about sustainability, the two aspects of sustainability that we were hoping to discuss through this panel, of course, one is the sustainability of the transporters. The other is the sustainability when it comes to environment, right? So focusing on both of that, since now Ashwin has also talked about sustainability of transporters. Suresh, we have in the past 1 or 2 hours talked about all the bottlenecks, right? So we have talked about essentially the cost of fleet, which is now coming down. It was projected to be about 15%, is now in the current range of 8.9 to 9%, hoping to bring it to 8%. That is what the government wants at this point, right? The logistics cost. In your assessment, what will be the challenges, apart from all the existing bottlenecks around toll taxes and interstate passage? What other challenges are you facing as transporters?
I think as the earlier panelist, Mr. Malkit Singh was pointing out, it is the roadside corruption, I would say, is the biggest challenge. The petty corruption that still exists. But I think going forward, the future looks very bright. Ashwin ji was pointing out to the turnaround time that has significantly improved with the advent of FASTag and also better vehicles and also abolishment of different state taxes. So that has significantly brought down the turnaround time for us. And going forward with the opening of the Bombay-Delhi Expressway, I think that would even further improve our turnaround time and efficiency. And if you add together the CNG aspect or the electric or the LNG or any other sustainable method of transportation, so it's going to just have a compounding effect on the turnaround time as well as on the profitability and on efficiency. So everybody wins in this case. Like environment is also less polluted, and we have better profit margins. Drivers are happy, so everybody wins in that case.
All right, all win-win sort of a situation,
Absolutely.
Hopefully in future. And before I conclude this discussion, let's also spend a minute, Ashwin, I want to come back to you. Let's spend a minute to understand challenges, some of those challenges that you also talked about. What are your expectations from the government? A new government perhaps or an existing government will come back in power. When it comes to policy measures, what new policies would you be hoping government will roll out to ensure sustainability for this sector?
The government we are talking about, Nitin Gadkari, I think is a fantastic transport minister.
May or may not be, sir.
May or may not be, but as of now he is there. And I think what he did firstly was the best thing. A vehicle of a 9-tonner would be loaded for 12 tonners. So automatically he increased the efficiency that the same number of vehicles can carry more load. That is one thing which he did. Secondly, that payment of your government dues. Today you can pay all your permits and other expenses and taxes online. So you don't have to go through any agent in between and delay your time. So that is again one more very big efficiency. And I would say the highways, which is supposed to be the best in the country, which we could never dream of, which we are seeing today, including your Atal Setu, which is there, and your Bombay-Pune Expressway, your Bombay-Delhi Expressway, your Bombay-Bangalore Expressway, which will cut down your delay in transportation out here. And I think we are seeing all efficiency. I think by this 2024, I think it should be a golden year for transport, where then all the expressway will be implemented, will be executed. So I think there is no question of sustainability out here. I think all these single truck owners will make enough profit. And what we want from the government is very simple out here. is a basically mismatch of demand and supply. So like how abroad they have is 4 zones: Bombay, Delhi, Calcutta, Chennai, or Hyderabad, whichever is there. So like 50 lakh square feet, warehouse there where loading and unloading can take place. So the hub and spoke movement, if this happens, I think everybody makes money. The vehicle travels 12,000, 14,000 kilometers. It is what we really require is a large scale warehousing and hub and spoke movement in India. And that is which will be the very game changer. And the logistics cost might come down from 9%, which they're projecting, to around 6 to 6.5%.
That is the hope. And before I conclude, शिवजीत, आपसे जानना चाहूँगी कि जब हम challenges की बात करते हैं, I think आपके दोनों panelists ने बहुत अच्छे से challenges को describe किया, ये भी बताया कि सरकार से expectation क्या है, implementation of national logistics policy, the hub and spoke model, how will that change the environment. आपसे जानना चाहूँगी, आखिरी सवाल है ये from the panel, आपकी क्या expectations हैं number one सरकार से, दूसरा एक कांस्टेंट आर्ग्यूमेंट हमने सुना पिछले 4 पैनल्स में, 3 पैनल्स में और पिछले 3-4 जगहों पे जहाँ पे हम लोगों से बात करके आए हैं, कई लोग कहते हैं कि, और जो बड़े ऑपरेटर्स हैं वो कहते हैं कि नहीं, हम बेटर अडॉप्ट करेंगे टेक्नोलॉजी को, हम कोशिश करेंगे अपनी ड्राइवर्स को सेफ रखें, और कहीं जो छोटे एक तरीके से ऑपरेटर्स हैं वो सस्टेन करने के लिए भी स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं. अगर एक फेयर पिक्चर में अंडरस्टैंड एनालाइज करना चाहूँ आपसे, आपने इकोसिस्टम को रीड किया है, कहाँ पे आप बैलेंस पाते हैं? क्या आपको लगता है कि ट्रांसपोर्टर स्ट्रगल कर रहे हैं, सस्टेनेबिलिटी की बात नहीं है, सुपर नॉर्मल प्रॉफिट्स है, या फिर आपको लगता है कि अब स्ट्रगल अभी भी जारी है क्योंकि 80 to 90% ऑफ देम आर एंटरप्रेन्योर्स एंड फर्स्ट टाइम ऑपरेटर्स?
वैसे तो मैं 2018 से इस फील्ड में हूँ, मैं एकदम फ्रेश हूँ, बट ट्रांसपोर्ट बहुत अच्छा बिजनेस है, इसमें कोई प्रकार का चैलेंज नहीं है. अगर मैं ऐसा बोलूं कि इस पृथ्वी पर, इस धरातल पर सबसे आसान बिजनेस है तो है ट्रांसपोर्ट. सबसे हायर टैक्स पेयर है हम. जब हम गाड़ी परचेस करते हैं तो 28% जीएसटी भी हम देते हैं, टीसीएस भी हम देते हैं. जब हम ऑयल परचेस करेंगे तो उसके ऊपर टैक्सेस भी हम देते हैं. बट इसके पहले और लोग ने बोला कि काफी सीनियर्स लोग थे, उन्होंने बोला कि यह अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड बिजनेस है. बट यह मैं मानता हूं कि ये बिल्कुल अनऑर्गेनाइज्ड बिजनेस नहीं है, एकदम वेल ऑर्गेनाइज्ड बिजनेस है. हमें बिजनेस करते आना चाहिए. हम बिजनेस को किस प्रकार से करते हैं यह उसके ऊपर निर्भर होता है. और बहुत अच्छा बिजनेस है.
I think extremely positive words coming in there from Shivjeet. Gentlemen, thank you very much, all three of you, for taking time out. Thank you for joining us on this panel discussion. I think the way I'd like to conclude it is that while Shivjeet says बहुत बेहतरीन business है, कई लोग ऐसे हैं जो कहते हैं कि बहुत मुश्किल होता है sustain कर पाना.
मैं आप लोगों को बताना चाहता हूं कि मैं 2018 में इस फील्ड में आया था. 0% एक्सपीरियंस था मुझे ट्रांसपोर्ट में. हमने 19 गाड़ी लेके शुरुआत की. आज मेरे पास 400 प्लस गाड़ियां हैं, और जो गाड़ियां हैं सब मेरे पास 4825, मतलब 12 टायरा, 14 टायरा, 16 टायरा, 18 टायरा, जबकि 0% नॉलेज था. इन कोविड पीरियड में भी हमारा बिजनेस हमने ग्रो किया है. हम 2018-19 में आए 8.5 करोड़ के बिजनेस के साथ में. लास्ट ईयर हमने 107 करोड़ पे क्लोज किया है. इस साल की हमारे टारगेट 200 करोड़ का है. तो मैं कैसे बोल सकता हूं कि यह बिजनेस अच्छा नहीं है? वेरी गुड बिजनेस है. हमें खुद ये बिजनेस करना चाहिए, हमारे बच्चों को भी इस बिजनेस में डालना चाहिए. इस बिजनेस की इतने आसान बिजनेस मैं तो बोलता हूं कोई और नहीं है. थैंक यू.
Thank you. All right. I think I would want to be a transporter next. It sounds more lucrative a business to me. But to conclude this, and as a part of the vote of thanks, this is a crucial time in the connectivity for the entire country. We are heading into elections. It's also crucial because the current government has been in power for 10 years. We've seen lots of changes. Some of those changes we talked about here when it comes to the cost of operations, which has now come down drastically. The freight cost has also come down. New assessments tell you that logistics cost is just under 10% at the moment, from 15 to 16% about 10 years ago. So those changes, of course, transporters have seen. What my general sense of the room is that people in Bombay and transporters in Bombay perhaps are more prosperous from many parts of the country. We were in Jaipur, and unfortunately there the environment was more pessimistic than what it is in this part of the country. What does it tell you? That experiences are very diverse in different parts of the country, that different operators in different parts of the country have a different sense of what the government is doing. So perhaps not everybody has been able to reap those benefits of the policy measures. That should be the goal of the government. The goal of the government should be to reach all possible people at all possible time in the next year. 10 years perhaps is a long course of time, and if the government does come back for the next 5 years, its focus should be last mile, and the last person out there who should be a beneficiary of the sector should be catered to. And with that, I think we'll conclude this wonderful discussion and wonderful conclave. Thank you very much for taking time out and for joining us here. I take great immense pride, and I also encourage you all to kindly register yourself for the Leaders of Road Transport Awards, which is likely to take place in the first week of March, and hopefully we'll see many of you back in Delhi. Thank you very much. And the tea is served. Thank you.
So we are going to have 7 temples here. In this area, just outside Perkota, there will be separate temples, not together. 7 separate temples will be built. कि इस पूरे स्ट्रक्चर में आयरन कहीं नहीं इस्तेमाल हुआ है, क्योंकि आयरन की लाइफ जो है वो 94-95 ईयर्स होती है. हम तो 1000 ईयर्स का टेम्पल बना रहे हैं. 3500 labor is working day and night. People of my generation, even your generation, younger generation, and many generations who have gone, they never ever thought that the Ram temple will be a reality. Not a single pie has come from any government agency for the construction of the temple. The first Land Acquisition Act, it was implemented with the advice, aid and advice of ministers and myself. But the beauty of this Prime Minister is, when I went to tell him that please do not issue the third ordinance on this matter, he looked at me. He said, "You are telling me?" Not even once he would use the word, "You guys are responsible." He takes the full responsibility for what happens. His speech on my farewell, I couldn't believe. I was in tears. The cabinet ministers and secretaries to the government who were invited, they couldn't believe. Prime Minister spoke for 45 minutes and he spoke only about me.
Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Thank you for liking, subscribing and sharing with people who you think will benefit from these conversations. My guest today has been entrusted with the task of completing the construction of the Ram Temple in Ayodhya. Mr. Nripendra Mishra is one of the most experienced bureaucrats of our times. He was Principal Secretary in the Prime Minister's office from 2014 to 2019. In the second term of Prime Minister Modi,